Okay, so it's 9:24. At this point, looking up here. If you're not ready, I want you to think about what happened that caused you to be right, and maybe make a plan for yourself, successful, and how you can. I always think about that Dr. Seuss book I shared, One of the Places You'll Go. Because I think about the idea of, you know, your mountain is waiting. So off you go, kind of thing. And what's exciting about 5th grade is that you now have the opportunity to really go deep and have big ideas. Life, about yourself, about people that you know when we're reading our books. In the past, maybe you had small ideas that just kind of left you after the book was over. This year, already, going to start to develop theories and just big thoughts that will after you finish reading the book. Because that's what and that's what I want to teach and I want you to learn today, if you don't know already, is that readers grow solid ideas by doing a couple things. By reading intensely and being aware that everything counts. I'm going to say that word again. Everything. Remember, we had talked about being on this area and having eye contact with the speaker and not being distracted by things in our hands. And so if you need something in your hand, I'm going to respect that. That you need something to touch, fine. But if it becomes a distraction to you, now you're just playing with it. It goes from a tool to help you concentrate to a toy. So as long as you're using something as a tool, that becomes a toy. And again, a toy distracts. A tool helps us focus. Okay. Next, the harder books, the more important the detail you have to pay attention. I left my book. There's a bigger book. Oh, well. It's called The Tale of Owen Meany. Oh, I know. Like this big. It's okay. It's all right. I don't need it. I'm just going to hold it up. It's not a big deal. It's just a book about that big. My wife has read it, and she wants me to read it. And she's telling me, like, there's all of these really specific details that happen. And in order to understand the whole book, I have to understand and pay attention to the smallest details that happen. The tiniest things. And that if I don't pay attention to those things, I'm not going to get the whole story. If I just pay attention to the plot, doesn't matter. Attention to the problem and solution, not going to get the book. It's not going to stay with me. I have to pay attention to the tiniest details. And I'm looking forward to reading that and paying attention to those tiny details so I can talk to my wife about it. Experience the book with each other. What you do right now is I want you to think about when was the last time you were truly in book, and why? Why were you engaged in that book? And when you have an idea as to what was the last book you were really engaged in and why, I want you to give me a thumbs up. This is not my pen. I will give it back to whoever I stole it from later. Just not right now. Just later. I don't know why I have it. I'm sorry. I thought I did. Sorry. I will give it back to you. So I know we're all. That's a different solution to leave it. Okay? So just taking off the sweater and leaving it. Just leaving the group is not like it throws things off. I was about to ask people to turn to talk. It's just not going to work. Okay. The day where you have is when we're on set. Okay. I will say the three of you will be talking. Everybody else that you will be talking person, because we have 21. And if I take 3 away, that's 18. So we have 9 2. You should be talking to one other person. You will talk to 3. This is what I want to do again. What was the last book you were truly engaged in, and why? I see people offer each other for a 3, so we try it. Okay? So have that conversation for me, please. Four, 3, 2, 1. Isaac. I heard some really interesting conversations. I heard some people who were really passionate about something that they read. Pedro, when you talked about the Star Wars, why were you so engaged in it?
I like that because it was very, I don't know how to explain it.
It was something you want to read, right? So it's something that you want to read. So that's probably going to be, I want to read it. Right? Sebastian, you were really focused on the character of the book. At any point, did you pretend like you were that character?
Yes.
Yeah? Because that's sometimes a lot of things that character we connect with, or we find experience that we like, and we kind of think about it. We want to be that. Even those of you, maybe you think it would be awesome to be Percy Jackson, like hanging out with the gods and gods. So that's another thing that I heard. Another one, Maria, What were you talking about?
I was talking about a book.
Hold on 1 second, please.
Some.
Stop. Please know I will. So this is a time to listen, and we need to know the difference between two things. So let's listen to me read this.
I was talking about a had to be with. So one twin, like their name were Jake and Lily. So Jake had his chapter, and then Lily had her chapter, and then they were gonna turn it over. But they weren't so large. They were very large.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they were like just one sentence,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very funny because they had two introductions, and they end the book, and then they start again.
Huh.
It's very funny.
And I heard at some point like there were confusing parts to it. Like some of it was kind of confusing, and you wanted to kind of figure it out. Like at the beginning, maybe.
Yeah, no, like very confusing because like lack of very confusing things.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, Lily said they were, but Jake said, forget it, we're not like grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Look for yourself.
So you'll find out as you start reading harder and harder books, they will become more and more confusing. And part of the fun of reading is trying to figure out why is it happening? Why is the author deciding? Why is he deciding? Chapter from one to him, one chapter from the other. There's reasons for everything. Now, real quick, we're going to look at the first 2 pages of chapter 1 from Tiger Rising. So I'm going to pass this out as smoothly as possible. We'll pass it down to me. Thank you. And then here, take one, pass behind. Okay. Do you next pass it back? You've already heard this chapter. We're going to reread it this time, and we're going to do so intensely, thinking about every single detail that we see and why it might be important. At the end of it, I'm going to act. And when I use the term jot, that means to. So anytime you hear me jot, that means to write quick ideas in the margins, okay, on the page. So this is your page down. Let's get in position to read intensely. And that is really sitting up straight. It's looking at the ideas. It's being with it present and in front of our face. Now, that morning, after he discovered the tiger, Rob went and stood under the Kentucky Star Motel sign and waited for the school bus just like it was in looking and paying attention to every single detail. Why is this important? The Kentucky Star sign was composed of a yellow neon star that rose and fell over a piece of blue neon in the shape of the state of Kentucky. He harbored a dim but abiding notion that it would bring him good luck. Tiger, he knew that. Way, not really looking for anything, just wandering, hoping that maybe he would get lost or get eaten to go to school ever again. That's when he saw the old Beauchamp gas station building, all boarded up and tumbling down. Next to it, there was a cage, and inside, unbelievably, there was a tiger, a real life very large tiger pacing back and forth. He was orange and gold and so bright. It was like staring at the sun itself. The sky was gray and the air was thick and still. Fog was hiding the ground. To Rob, it seemed as if the tiger was some magic trick. When he turned, ran back into the woods, and the whole way home, while his brain, his heart beat out the truth to him. Tiger. Stop and jump at this point. On the page, just on the page. No, you can write on the page. But if you've already written on the sticky notes, something. I don't know about you. Absolutely not. But I have a lot of questions so far. I'm wondering why specific details. Why a star on the motel sign? Why is she comparing the tiger to a sun? Why does he believe in luck so? And why is he so kind of an inkling because of what happened in chapter 2? But still, what is it about so that he? So there's a lot of questions and things I have about specific details. And so, do from this point forward is, as you're reading, really hone in on those specific details. Okay. For the time being, as you're reading the book, that you're like, wow, I need to take note of this. Use Post-it notes. At some point, we'll use our reading book for the time being. For our notes and notes, we're going to be using Post-it notes. So use whatever that helps you with your Post-it notes. At this point, what we're going to do is you'll get out your book that you have, and you'll start reading. Once I see you reading intensely, I'll tap you on the shoulder, and you'll be allowed to go back to your seat to continue reading. That you understand reading intensely looks like, I'll tap you on the shoulder, and you'll be allowed to go back to your desk. So please.